Hello everyone, today we're going to be reacting to The State of Wizard Games by the Stellar J. So let's just get right into it.
There were 4 types of kids at my school growing up. Kids obsessed with dinosaurs, kids obsessed with sports, kids obsessed with the Hunger Games, and kids obsessed with Harry Potter.
See, he missed a big one there. Kids obsessed with anime and kids obsessed with games.
I was obsessed with having no friends.
Okay, so he actually was into anime or RuneScape.
And also Harry Potter, I guess. When I first saw the Dumbledore versus Voldemort fight at the end of the Order of the Phoenix, my family had to take me to a hospital because I lost consciousness after all the blood in my brain rushed straight to my penis. I wonder if there's a medical term for that. Holy shit, there is. Both of them.
Over Harry Potter, though? Potterheads. You guys are something else, I'd gotta say.
Start by shooting the same boring laser beam that we see with every other fight in this series, but Voldemort quickly realizes that the killing curse alone will not be enough to win, so he's forced to get creative. The motherfucker breathes fire and then warps it into a giant lava snake which lunges at Dumbledore, who absorbs the flames and redirects them right back. Then before you even have time to comprehend what just happened, Dumbledore says, and bam, he's waterbending the fountain to trap Voldemort. This is what a wizard battle is all about. 2 genius sorcerers creatively using everything at their disposal to overpower the other. Seeing this fight was the single greatest thing to ever happen to my 10-year-old self, and I have been chasing that high via Wizard Games ever since.
I've got to say, that was probably one of the best moments of the movie. I don't really think that would have been great in the book. Everyone says the books are better, but how would J.K. Rowling write? And then Voldemort cast fire and Dumbledore made a war. I don't think she did. So yeah, movies better than the books. Don't kill me.
How's it going, assholes? My name is Stellar J, and the world is in desperate need of a good wizard game. It causes me immense physical pain to admit that Wizard 101 is probably the most mainstream wizard game ever released. Seriously, why is that? Well, if 19 years of watching shitty YouTube videos has taught me anything, it's that shitting on a greedy AAA studio is never a bad starting off point. Skyrim set the bar for wizard combat unfathomably low.
I mean, it's not really hard to shit on some of these AAA companies when all they do is make shitty games. I mean, look at Blizzard. That's like the easiest target ever, and they keep going, and people keep giving them money.
The game features over 100 spells with a magic system as vast as an ocean and about as deep as a tweet from Jaden Smith. Not that I'm one to talk. There is no utilizing your environment, there are no spell interactions, and there are no combos. For destruction spells, you shoot fire, ice, or lightning in a straight line. There are only 2 kinds of wizard games. Wizard games with purple lightning and wizard games with yellow lightning.
Yes, but can you fuzz Rodin in Harry Potter? Checkmate.
Do not let yourself fall into the purple lightning pipeline. Yellow is clearly superior. Shouts can be categorized into the funny ragdoll shout and the rest of them. There are some interesting spells in this game, but they're all utility instead of combat centric. Why do wizard games fall flat? Number 1, they need to have variety in their combat. Think about what made that Harry Potter fight so cool. They threw aside the formula and focused on something much more important. Presentation! Enter Dragon's Dogma. I don't know what the fuck dogma means, but it sounds extremely sexual. This game wins the fucking Nobel Peace Prize for having the coolest looking magic in any video game ever. Just look at the way the sorcerers cast spells, man. Told you
guys he was an anime fan. I knew. You always know.
I spent 2 years learning Japanese for that joke, please subscribe. Unfortunately, the mage class doesn't scale very well into the late game, and it's simply more worth your time to pick ranger, which is coincidentally exactly the same as in Skyrim, where late game wizards are about as useful to the kingdom as YouTubers are to society. Number 2, wizards should be powerful and I should feel cool as fuck for being one. A wizard would destroy you in a fight. It's not an episode of anime, motherfucker, wake the hell up. This fight is the—
Told you guys. Anime fan. Everyone's an anime fan. The thing about wizards to me, right? You're never the best class. I mean, 99 mage is cool and all, but it's never that strong. Unless you're playing RuneScape 3, then it's okay.
Highest level wizard duel we see in all of Harry Potter, and the sheer scale of everything is a huge part of what makes it so enjoyable. At first glance, it seems like Terraria has everything going for it. There's over 70 unique spells, a bunch of armor sets, and hordes of items to change up builds. It also scales extremely well with the other classes. Check it out, Chad, I call this my gaydar. Fuck, I just killed the bird, no! I actually consider this to be one of the better magic games out there, but its fatal flaw is that there's just not enough going on. For every single spell in the entire game, you just mouse one the enemy until it dies. Wizard combat should be more complex than fucking Cookie Clicker. There's very little incentive to switch.
Do not disrespect Cookie Clicker. That game is so complex. You click the cookie, then you click the cookie, then you click the cookie, and then suddenly you have a grandma apocalypse and everything has gone to shit. Don't trust me? Go and play Cookie Clicker.
switch to other weapons to create combos because of my least favorite part of any wizard game, mana. The problem with mana bars is that they incentivize players to use only their most powerful spells over and over again lest they risk wasting mana on a worse weapon. At most, you might switch to a secondary weapon for like 1 second to apply Ichor or some other debuff before going right back to your main. I personally find cooldown-based magic much more fun. Obviously, you're gonna have that one spell that hopelessly outclasses the—
Yeah, he pretty much said the reason why I never play mage in any game that I have the choice between being a ranger, a mage, or melee. You have to use mana to do anything. And once you're out of mana, you don't do anything. Even if you look at Elden Ring nowadays, they've made it so that you can kind of use a weapon and stuff, and you can cast spells even if you're not a mage. But it's just not worth it. You need to have such high DPS to make up for the fact that you can only do so much DPS. Whereas if you're a melee, you just swing sword, swing sword, swing sword, swing sword. I hit my mic. Swing sword. And that's it. Ranged, you get that distance that you get as a mage, but your only restriction is usually arrows, bolts, or any of that stuff. But you get more costs usually because you get 500, 1,000, fucking 1 million arrows compared to your limited mana bar. So that's for me why mage is always the worst class unless it's OP. Unless it can do so much damage, then why would you not be mage?
Rest. And obviously, you're going to want to use that spell over and over and over. But when it goes on cooldown, you're forced to adapt. You're forced to find creative ways to incorporate your other spells into a combo while you wait for your big cheese spell to refresh. Spellbreak decided to mix the two. You can equip 2 of 6 gauntlets, each of which— wait, seriously? Only 6? This game is out for 4 years and you only thought of 6 spells? No fucking wonder they're shutting the servers down, you idiots. Each gauntlet you pick up has a primary attack and a special attack. The special attack has a cooldown, and your primary attack shares a mana bar with your double jump. The cooldown on special moves is definitely better than linking them to the mana bar, but because you only get 2 spells, there's no real combos you can pull off. You can combine elements to create special effects, but most of them just equal extra damage. I think this game could have been a lot more fun if you picked each individual spell instead of having them packaged together by element. Keep the delay on primary attacks as it is, but lower their damage, add some spells with medium length cooldowns, and then keep the special.
This game just looks like a Fortnite mod to me. You could tell me that it's just Fortnite and I would believe you.
Is exactly how they are. This would make fights significantly more complex and prevent people from getting bored. Also, tap into people's microphones and make the wolf blood rune last longer if I howl at it. Oh, I see him. Number 3, the magic system needs to be complex. The laser beam duels in Harry Potter are the equivalent of holding mouse 1 in your last Prism in Terraria. They're boring because they're too simple. V versus D threw all of that out the window, and for a wizard game to be fun, the exact same thing needs to happen. But is it possible for a wizard game to be too complex? Yes. Very much yes. The amount of spells and spell interactions in a wizard game is directly proportional to the amount of crack cocaine ingested during the development process.
I don't even know what to say to that one. That's pretty accurate. I mean, sometimes I look at like WoW, for example, and all of the costs that you have in WoW, which is one of the reasons why I couldn't get into WoW, and I go into RuneScape instead. But even though RuneScape 3 kind of changed that a bit, and it's just so overwhelming. All over the screen, so many spells, and you use like 6. You don't really need that many.
This is the universal law of wizard games, and if it is to be believed, then we're going to need a fucking SWAT raid on Nala Games as soon as humanly possible because Noita is fucking insane. This is the only wizard game that I've played that actually lets you create your own weapons by mixing spells together. If I was the developers, I would add an Among Us spell. Appeal to younger audience. Check. As you play the game, you'll find or buy wands that let you equip different spells to them. Wait a minute, Joe, your wand shoots in bursts of 4 with a 1 second delay between them. Why? Okay, well that's because this particular one has a cast delay of 0.22 seconds but a recharge time of 1 full second. You see, the cast delay is the time it takes for the wand to go from one spell to the next. It's low here so it fires fast. The reason for the delay between shots is the recharge time, which is the time it takes for the wand to cycle from the last spell in the series back to the beginning. This wand also shuffles the order of your spells, which makes your wand inconsistent because you won't always be landing on your spell modifiers. A spell modifier is a special spell that changes the effect of whatever spell you slot directly to the right of it. It does not change the effect of the entire wand, as you would be forgiven for assuming based on the incredibly vague descriptions. There's also regular spells with modifier spells cooked in that activate after a certain amount of time or hitting an enemy or wall. Now, if that sounds overly complex, convoluted, and confusing, that's because it is, but it's okay because the game teaches you exactly none of that. Is this a fucking joke? I currently have about 10 hours in this game, and I can say with confidence that at least half of that time was spent sitting in this dumbass temple between levels just figuring out how to make my wand half decent. And that's just
Waste of time. Should have just Googled the guy. Come on. You know there's a Google. You know you can Google it. YouTube, boom. How to max DPS. Perfect. Sweet.
The spell system! I haven't even scratched the surface of how confusing this game is. One time I spent literally 30 minutes figuring out a crazy luminous drill wand, and then I died in one shot because I stepped in some random fucking puddle that turned me into a sheep. Are you kidding me? I am not here to give you my entire uncensored thoughts on Noita, but I think it's pretty hard to argue that this game couldn't benefit from a little bit of simplification. It is not a good sign when the first 2 YouTube results for Noita Beginner's Guide are an hour long. Here's a fucking flowchart that I found that explains the alchemy system in Noita. What the fuck am I even looking at?
Okay, I take my previous statement back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You tell me an hour long for a beginner's guide? That's a joke. That's a joke. Oh my god, look at this flowchart. This is crazy. So, I don't even know where to start. This looks like A-level chemistry to me. Wow.
Unlike Harry Potter, I do not wish to spend 8 years of my life learning how to cast magic. Like, would it fucking kill you to add a tutorial? Number 4, the magic system needs to be accessible. These wizards didn't spend 30 minutes in a Naruto flashback theorizing about what spells to use. They just did it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the source of my frustration. It is so hard to find a game that balances all of these elements. Hey, I will fuck you up, whoever threw that. You ever been dive bombed before, asshole? It is not a pretty sight. The fuck even is this? Oh yeah, I forgot Wizard of Legend exists. Holy shit, he's a fucking firebender. Look at that rock move. Dude, I gotta use that one. Wizard of Legend is the coolest fucking magic game of all time and one of the best roguelikes I've ever played. You start by choosing 4 spells, a relic, and 1 type of drip. Remember when I tried to change Spellbreak's magic? Well, I was actually just describing this game's magic system word for word, and it was the greatest bamboozle in history. Ain't none of these spells clones of each other. Here's one that turns your fists into dragons. Here's one that makes you the Avatar. Here's one that makes you a Beyblade. Variety? Check. Just gonna check that one off too while I'm at it. I remember the first time I thought of a cool build idea. I unlocked this spell which lets you roleplay as everyone's favorite avatar character, the drill, and I realized, hey, this drill hits like 15 times in one go. And then I realized, wait a minute, Dark Katana triples crit chance for melee attack.
Okay, we're playing this game. After I finish this video, I'm playing this game. This game looks amazing.
And then I realized, hey, wait a minute, this robe increases my crit chance and damage. There are so many synergies and ways to become overpowered as shit. You always get to start with 4 really good spells that complement the rest of your kit perfectly, but because of the randomized loot and cooldowns, you are forced to get creative with how you tackle enemies. And that level of unpredictability is also what makes it so satisfying when you do get a god run. Any spell that looks like dog shit can become broken as shit if you put enough thought into your build. Unless it's a summon, don't ever use those. Fuck you, I'm putting 2 check marks. In Wizard of Legend, just casting a spell is enough to know exactly what it does. The complexity comes from the player's own ability to create combos, avoid damage, and make decisions, not from the magic system itself, which significantly lowers the skill floor while only slightly lowering the skill ceiling. Yahtzee! Yahtzee! It is literally a perfect game. Okay, perfect games don't exist, but basically what I'm saying with this video is that if you fuck up Hogwarts Legacy, I'm busting out the Chevy Silverado and I'm driving it straight through your kitchen. Subscribe.
When did this video come out? This video came out 3 days ago. Hogwarts Legacy, I don't think it's going to be good. If I'm being honest, I don't have high hopes for Hogwarts Legacy. It's Harry Potter IP, which means they're going to be very lazy with it because they're going to make them bag regardless. They could release the shittiest game ever and people are still going to buy it because it says Harry Potter on it. So I don't have high hopes, sir. All in all, I think this was a good video. This is my first time watching a video by the Stellar J. We're going to go ahead and subscribe. Alright guys, that's it for today. If you enjoyed, give it a like and subscribe. As you can see, I don't have many subs, so it's really, really appreciated. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one.